Hello, everyone.
Welcome to Procure. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about a very new and interesting topic: relevance of social skills in today's procurement world. Now, I've been in procurement as a career for many years, and I've heard different school of thoughts over a period of time. So one school of thought has been that you need to have the right technical skills to progress further in your career. You need to know how to run RFPs, how to negotiate, how to do category management, how to do spend analysis, and that's how you can really grow in your career and go up the ladder. But I've also heard the other school of thought where you need to have the right social skills and the right social network in order to progress in your career. Now, is one better than the other? Is one right choice over the other? Or a third perspective of having both, how important that is and what is the relevance of that? And that is what we're going to explore in today's episode. So I'm going to turn to Nishish and ask him to tell us a bit about his career journey and, how have you navigated through social skills and technical skills, and how have you really built your career to be where you are today?
I think you gave in the answer right at the start, Vidya, that the key is in the balance. However, what I want to talk about is that we all understand the importance of technical skills and how it can impact our performance in the career. What I really want to talk about is the importance of social skills and how it impacted me in my career. This is a story not long back, a couple of years back. I was in procurement. I was performing very well. So I was seen as a star employee out there in the organization, and I used to take a lot of pride in it. However, over a period of time, I felt that there was a stagnation in the career. That was the time when I started to seek feedback from some of the senior stakeholders, and I was really perplexed because I was a star a few months back, right? And how that stagnation started to kick in was a bit surprising and a bit hard to accept for me. In the process, when I was seeking feedback, I realized although I was seen as a subject matter expert within the organization, I was still seen as a single trick pony.
Oh,
And that was primarily stemming from the fact that while I knew the insights and the outs of my own industry, I was not engaging or interacting with some of the fraternity members, the industry leaders. And what that was doing, it was limiting my thought process, it was limiting my approach, which also reflected in how I was being perceived by some of the senior leaders. So that was the aha moment for me to understand or to realize the relevance of social skills and how it can positively influence the career. And some of the steps which I took is I started to connect with some of the fraternity members, fraternity leaders, and that was happening through LinkedIn and also by going to the networks and the conferencing events. And that's where the conversation started. And suddenly, in my engagement with some of the senior leaders within the organization, I was then coming across as much more rounded, much more holistic, and demonstrated the right level of seniority, which then led to further growth in the career.
so were there any specific questions or advice that you were seeking from these members? How did you go about interacting with them?
Initially, so I went to the conferences and events. I met the fraternity members. So one of the key questions from my side was what were some of their pain areas? And that was primarily to understand what are the challenges which some of the other fraternity members from different industries face. And and the other was what are their strengths? And again, that gave me insight into the fact that our fraternity members from automobile, they are very good at supplier relationship management, whereas there are others which are good at category management, and that sort of enabled the exchange of ideas, and I started to learn and gain insights into how I can improve in some of these aspects.
That's very interesting. And did you see a lot of engagement coming from these leaders that you were connecting? Were they willing to share insights with you? Were they willing to invest time in having a conversation with you?
Yeah, so the experience has been mixed, I
Okay.
think, and that's something which is at the very center of this podcast, that as a fraternity, we are not very good at interacting or engaging with each other, learning from each other. So there was a little bit of reservation, but primarily what I've seen is that the leaders are very, very keen to share. And when the interaction is much more fruitful if it's a two-way exchange, right? So they are also looking to gain something from your experience. Once it is a mutual interaction or a bilateral chat, the the conversation just flows. But if you only approach it with the intent to gain out of it, but not with the intent of giving back, that is where the conversation may not flow, and I've seen reservations.
That's very interesting. I think my journey has been a little bit different to yours. So if I share my experience, like I said, I've been in this industry for a very, very long time, and I've worked in different industries, which has given me different experience to enhance my technical skills, so to speak, because every industry had a different challenge, different way of operating, different pace of operating. So I think agility in moving from one industry to the other was something that I really gained. And I think that's something I really give back when I speak with people, right? So now that I'm in a position that I have people who approach to me, this is something I'm more than happy to share with them, that how to adapt from one industry to the other. From the social skills perspective, during my career journey, what I've always been keen on, right? I've been very clear as to what my career path is. I've been very self aware of what I'm good at and what I'm not good at. So I've always made an attempt of understanding how I can improve what I'm not good at. So I've utilized the industry events, I've utilized the conferences, the social media platforms to connect with people. And when I do attend any events, what I've tried to do over time is to benchmark, speak to people, understand what are they doing in their organization. And when I say benchmark, I'm speaking to my peers. I'm trying to understand what are they doing. Am I doing something similar? Am I lagging behind? What is the maturity level of procurement transactions which are happening now? And when I say transactions, it's not RFPs, but it's more to do with how we are operating. And then moving from there, it's also important to understand what are other people doing in terms of upskilling themselves. Is there anything new that I can learn from there? So this is how I've always approached my conversations with people, to understand what is everybody doing, what are different sectors and industries doing. I mean, if you've heard of late, there is a notion that, or a demand in the market, when you have jobs you need to have experience in certain industry, certain category. But by attending these events, I've also targeted or met with people who are from different industries to see what exactly is different, how they're approaching things differently to how we are, right? So this gives a more holistic purpose and understanding of, because see, at the end of the day, procurement technically is the same. How you negotiate, how you compare quotes, how you run RFPs, fundamentally it doesn't change. What you adopt is at a surface level, right? It's at the execution level. It's at what is the commercial benefit we're looking. That may vary industry to industry. So I think to also become more employable, it's important to have the awareness and understanding of all of that. That makes a huge difference. And this is where social skills are very important. I would really like to tell our viewers and listeners today that, when you are attending industry events, don't approach it just to see what opportunities are there in the market, who's hiring. That is important, but as well, you will lose out on huge opportunities to become more self aware and upskill yourself if you don't talk to your peers and understand what their challenges are. And like you rightly said, that when you approach the peers, the questions you were asking was, what are your challenges? So understand what are the challenges in our community. It's not just about sharing good things or success stories, but also challenges. Maybe I can provide a different perspective if you ask me the question. And I think your and my journey or connection has happened in that manner, that when we met, we were talking about our challenges in our different perspective industries. And that's where we found that there were a lot of similarities and a lot of differences. So obviously, every conversation you have, you learn something new.
That's very well put, Vidyan. Just to add a little different color to it, what I would also say that relationships are a cornerstone when it comes to procurement, right? Whether it is around relationships with the suppliers or with the stakeholders, they are key to you being perceived as a performer, right? And and that all demands social skills. If you have the social skills, then you will be able to nurture the relationships, build the relationships. So, of course, one aspect could be that it enhances your chances on the employability side, but the other is also it has a very direct correlation on your performance because you will be doing much better when it comes to supplier relationship management, driving negotiations, or managing your stakeholders.
No, absolutely. That's a fair point. From another perspective of social skills and technical skills, one need to be really, really self-aware, right? If you know what you're good at and if you know what you're not good at, this will help you build a holistic approach to your career progression. You need to really lay down what are you looking to get from your career, right? Some people may not really be looking for a career progression. They may be looking for something very different. And the way to approach it will be very different.
Yeah.
So I think holistic view to where you want to go in your career, what you want to achieve, and what you want to contribute, and what legacy you want to leave behind is the key to how you best utilize the social skills to your advantage.
Absolutely.
So we hope that conversation was insightful for you, and our career journeys have inspired you somewhere to also look at how you're going to approach your career. If you need any help or if you would like to get some more insights from us, do reach out to us. We will be very happy to get in touch with you and have a further conversation. For today, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment for us. And you have a good day ahead.
Bye bye.